Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to my recap of Season 13, Episode 8 of The Bachelorette. This week is hometowns, and you know I'm new to this show, so I was really like, oh wait, she's going to go meet all of their parents in their hometowns. Like, I love the budget of this show. Rachel has 4 suitors left. It's Dean, Eric, Peter, and Brian. So she's going to go meet each of their families. Peter's people were the only people I wasn't scared about. Everyone else, Eric made Baltimore sound very sketchy. Eric's description of his home life seemed to confirm the stereotypes of Baltimore. Brian talking about his ex and how she didn't get along with his mother and that's why they broke up. His mother, it was clear she was a piece of work. But what kind of piece of work would we be meeting this week? Dean, his father looked like one of them little wizards from the Disney movies. I was unclear of what that was going to be. That exceeded my wildest and worst expectations. And Peter, let's talk about the guys' families in the order that it happened. Eric takes Rachel to Baltimore, and I think they meet on Federal Hill, which is the quote-unquote nice side of Baltimore. Eric made Baltimore sound like a shit show, and it wasn't. There was some touchy moments. Eric and Rachel are driving, and he was like, oh, there's a drug deal happening right there. Sir, that wasn't something you need to point out. His family was dope, and that's probably a wrong word to use when you talk about your family having a lot of drug dealers in it, including your dad. But they were cool. Eric and Rachel go play a game of one-on-one, and Cousin Ralph shows up. Cousin Ralph has the strongest Baltimore accent I've ever heard because everything is do. He has nothing but great things to say about Eric. He says he's really proud of him. He's a really great guy. And it's all the things that you would expect your family to say unless they genuinely hate you. Later in the day, they go to meet the family. I was very scared based on Eric's description and how he grew up. Eric made it sound like he lived in a trap. But these are just some normal, regular, good time black folk. And because I know we do this, anytime there's a representation of black people, black families on TV, we really genuinely hope, like the same way when somebody does some real dumb criminal shit, we're like, please don't let them be black. In our heads, we were like, please don't let these people act up on TV. They should not be held to that standard, but it is something that we do culturally. But they did not disappoint. These were lovely people. This is a loving family. I noticed that Rachel kept calling Eric, and everyone else called him Eric. Ma'am, when you in this part of town, his name is Eric. Aunt Verna, not Aunt, Aunt Verna was the spokesperson for the family. She met with Rachel and she had questions. She was like, so hey, what's it like being the first black bachelorette? And Rachel was very honest. She was like, you know, I feel like I'm being judged by 2 different audiences. There's what the mainstream audience thinks and there's what the black audience thinks. And she was very honest and said that I'm going to be very selfish about this decision. Translation, I'm not going to pick the black guy just because he's black. She was like, no other bachelorette is held to that standard and I'm not going to put that pressure on myself. I did think it was interesting that we're going to meet Eric's family and both of Eric's parents are alive and present at this family gathering. But the first person we speak to is the aunt. And that said a lot to me about Eric's relationship with his mother and his father. But he does go speak to his mom. Mama's hair was done. That was fresh from the shop. She had her big glitter earrings on. Mama was ready to be seen on prime time. Eric also has a chat with his dad, who's really supportive. If nothing else, there's a genuine love there. All these episodes, we've seen Rachel in these multicultural environments. Seeing Rachel chilling with her people, with the black guy, it gave Eric some black points to me. It did. If she doesn't choose him, I won't be offended, but she looked real nice hanging out with all them brown people. She looked real comfortable in that brown environment. I really like this family. I really do. It's very, I love you. I'm proud of you. I want the best for you. I support you. We talk about black love often as if it's something just between one romantic partner and another romantic partner, but black love extends to families. Come on and show the love that we have for one another. Again, they are not a representation of every black family, nor should they be held to that standard to represent for what a black family looks like, but I was glad to see them. After Rachel meets the family, she's going to go off because she's got 3 more families to meet. And Eric puts it on the table and he's like, yo, I love you. I really do. And then he kept growling. Is this a nervous tick? You know how some people get nervous, they play with their ears, or they pull their hair, or they like clean under their nails, or is that what the growling is? The growling must end, sir. That would drive me crazy. You'd have to stop that. I like Eric. I really do. I think he's fun. I think he has great energy. Meeting his family pushed him up a couple notches. I also had to check myself on that, because even though when you marry someone, you marry into their family, your day in and day out is dealing with that person. As a package, Eric's family boosts him up some points, but I still honestly don't think that Eric is the right match for Rachel. Next up is Brian's family. Rachel goes down to Miami to see about Brian and his Cuban people. He keeps talking about like, this is the real Miami. This is the real Miami. Like, sir, it's not South Beach, but it's all of the places that you took Rachel are very much listed in tourist guides. Brian takes Rachel to play dominoes, which I was like, look, you think we don't have a lot in common with the Cubans? Latinos, they're just like us. I didn't like that he kept speaking Spanish in front of her. When I hang out with my Haitian friends and they go full Creole and French, I'm like, hello, like American English speaker here. Exactly what are you saying? Can you fill me in? Because you feel like people are talking over you and around you, or worse, are talking about you. So I felt like he could have translated a little bit for her, but not the end of the world. I'll tell you what was the end of the world though. Brian's mom. I realized last night that one of the reasons I'm drawn to Brian is because he's an only child. I am also an only child. It's like we're a special tribe of people. We like flock to one another. But I'll tell you, his mama is a no. She's, despite having a husband of forever many years, she thinks that's her man. Mama ain't trying to really have Rachel in the house. She wants Brian all to herself. She did not try to make him look good for TV. Brian went to talk to his mom and was like, yeah, I really like her. And his mom was like, I mean, but you've had so many women. There have been so many women over the years. And now you go on a show and you think this is it? Mom put his business in the street. That was some low-key, high-level cock blocking. When Rachel went to talk to the mom was like, you know, you marry him, you marry the family. And then the mom was like, yeah, you understand, my son has to be happy. If he's not happy, I will kill you. Rachel laughed. The mother didn't. She's just a headache nobody needs. If Rachel is to get with Brian, they need to go move to the Northeast. Brian's fine as I don't know what, but his mother, she had enough personality for two people. Just, Rachel, run. Get another quick, like, feel up, rub down, shove your tongue down his throat. One more good time for the memories. But, girl, you got to run. Don't sign up for that mess. Now, Peter, they went out to Wisconsin. I can't remember if Rachel ran up to Brian and Eric, but she certainly ran and hopped up on Peter. She was happy to see that man. They had a cute date. They went to the farmer's market, and then they, like, chill out in this restaurant. These two black guys show up who look exactly like the black men that you would think live in Wisconsin. Rachel recalls Peter once mentioning 8 out of 10 of his friends were black. Peter leaves Rachel at the table to go ask his two black friends what they... I'm trying to talk around this because I don't want to accuse the producers of going to find two random black people to just put on the show. But that whole thing just seemed really scripted and odd. I don't know. Like, maybe those really are Peter's black friends from Wisconsin. No one said anything wrong. No one said anything offensive. But it seemed a bit pandering. It did. Peter's environment is like super, super white. And I think they wanted to, you know, add some color in there so it wouldn't be so obviously starkly white. They're walking through the market, wasn't no black people around. Peter's family was very nice. They were dry. They didn't seem like as a family they would be in your business and bother you too much, which is always a blessing. The other issue here is Rachel has been very adamant that she wants a proposal. Peter is very adamant that he doesn't know if he's ready. As much as I like Peter, I do like him. But as far as what Rachel's been saying that she wants, Peter is not it. Rachel goes to Aspen to see Dean. When I think Aspen, I think glitzy, ritzy, but this was not that. Mm-mm-mm. Dean hasn't seen his dad in 2 years. Dean's dad wasn't all that bad. Like, the playing of the gong was unique. Rachel seemed to enjoy it. Dean was absolutely mortified. Just in general, I think that whole family, the mother's death was very traumatic. It happened, what, a good 10 years ago, and they have still not properly mourned and grieved her passing. Dean has extreme anger with his father for how he handled the mother's death. The father cries at the mere mention of the mother. They were nice people, but they need some help. At one point during that family visit, I had to ask, is this Iyanla Fix My Life or The Bachelorette? Because Rachel's trying to hold people together. Everybody's crying. Rachel's going into the house with Dean. She's already nervous about meeting this man's family. Dean is just like, oh God, it's going to be so horrible. Like, this man is having like an anxiety attack. He's losing it. And then he loses it in the house. He's refusing to eat. Dean is a really nice dude. With some counseling, he could make somebody a really good boyfriend, and maybe in 5 years, he can make somebody a really good husband. Don't fall into the black girl's curse of trying to fix people. Rachel, these are not the folks you want for your in-laws. After she meets all 4 families, she has to make a decision. It's the rose ceremony. Obviously, one of the guys is going to go. Unsurprisingly, it was Dean, and not because of his youth, and not because of like Dean's fear that Rachel was going to judge him for his family, but because they have so many unresolved issues and really they need to get a handle on that. Bye, Dean. I have nothing bad to say about you. I hope we see you again as a possible bachelor in another like 4 to 5 years. I think you're an awesome dude. I just think you have a little bit more growing to do. And again, shout out to your dentist because your teeth are perfection. And your parents. Like, I don't know what your dad looks like under that beard. Your parents had at the very least to look all right, because you, Dean, you got it, dude. You just got to grow up a little more. I was actually really sad to see Dean go. That's my recap. Let me know what you thought. Let me know who you'd like to see Rachel end up with at this point, because, you know, people's minds keep changing, except the Team Peter people. I imagine y'all are still gung-ho for Peter. And let me know what you thought of the recap. My bad on it being so late. And yeah, that's everything.